Hello again. Welcome to the IFS Ultimo New Features webinar. My name is Bert Elbertsen. Next to me is standing Chiel Borkent. We are both product owners at IFS Ultimo, and we will be hosting this webinar for you today. We're going to show the new features based on our 6 key roadmap themes. We're going through them one by one, show you the new features of these themes. And if you have any questions during this webinar, make sure to send them in and we will try to answer them at the end of the presentation. So for each of the themes, we are going to show you the achievements since the beginning of this year, so features that are already available. But we're also going to show you things we are currently actively working on and you can expect in the second half of this year. So let's kick off with the first theme. Chiel, please take it away.
All right, thank you. So the core EAM modules, the maintenance, operations and HSE. Let me start with the downtime registration. So you as customers gave us feedback about this existing module and we improved it based on your feedback. For example, the dialog on the right, how to register downtime, is improved. It's based on what you start with by registering a downtime or straight away including a job. The dialog will behave different. This gives us a consistent input. So maybe it's good to emphasize that it's a kind of circle of collaboration. You gave us feedback. We bundle them, we improve the software in the rolling release and it becomes available. So please keep those suggestions coming and we can apply this of course also on other modules. We continue with the medical assets management. Here we created a central place for field safety notices. For example, recalls. You can register the reason why, the target date, and then the next step is to link assets. Well, this can be done in a very simple way. You go through the selection list of the asset screen and filter on the combination of, for example, the supplier or the serial number. And then you can do a bulk action and link all these assets to the field safety notice. So the amount of administration is pretty simple and low. And next step you can achieve then is you can take measures by creating jobs per asset straight from this field safety notice. So this gives some proper follow-up and then the jobs will be included in the normal workflow. So a nice addition for the medical assets management module. Then warehouse management. Here we improve the stock counting technique. So it was already available, but now we improved it in such a way that an article is linked to an ABC code. On that ABC code, you can set frequencies and that determines if an article will be added to the stock count list. Then the stock count itself, you can do a blind count. That means you don't know upfront what's in that stock and you have to really register it, or you can see it already upfront, so you know what to expect, and then you recount based on what you find in that stock. Another way of stock counting is do an ad hoc stock count. That means you divide your warehouse in, for example, 2 parts, and this can again be done from your selection list. So you filter on a part of your warehouse, link them to a stock count, assign an employee, and then do the other part of your warehouse pretty similar. Then you can do this on paper or do a real-time stock count with your barcode scanner app. So this is all included in this stock count improvement. Well, that asks you please send in questions, but maybe I can ask for one that's maybe now in your mind, because what about the mobile solution? We think that the barcode scanner is the preferred solution in a warehouse, but sometimes we receive the question, how about the mobile solutions? Well, to be honest, we think it's on the longer term, it will become available on the mobile solution. So we are working on making web suitable for mobile, but you can expect it a bit on the longer term because it involves a lot of changes in the UI of screens, make them suitable for your small device like a mobile phone. So on the short term, this step is not on the roadmap. So that's why we focus on the barcode scanner app. Then we continue with warehouse management because there are 2 improvements done which are very handy. So first of all, you have an article and that article has multiple suppliers. And in database structure terms, it's deeper in the structure. But we got a request, can you link the preferred supplier of this article in the selection list, and that's achieved. So you can now filter in your selection list of articles straight away on the preferred supplier and related informations like the article code of that preferred supplier. Very handy way. And pretty similar is also the article warehouse location screen. Again, that's a screen with a selection list, and you can then filter on an article and see straight away which warehouse, what's the stock, etc. It could be that you now think, well, this is already for long term in my environment. Well, this is often configured by consultants based on your request. So if this is the case, maybe you can now delete the configuration. So have a look at it. And well, that means you have configuration points in stock again for maybe another thing you have in mind, another improvement. Then the medical laboratories. Well, for a while now we have the operation suite and we have the medical technology module. But we got questions if the medical laboratories can join as well. And well, they checked their requirements and there was a perfect fit with the operation suite. So what we did is we make this available for them. That involves several changes. For example, in the past you could link a workbook to a process function, but the laboratories work with medical assets, so that was a change. And also the logbook functionality is now available on the medical asset screens as well. So all in all, a nice solution for this user group. Then the last topic in the theme is about the work permit module. So here, this is still an ongoing step, but what we did is the work permit can now contain different permit types. I think about working at height and hot work. This involves also a change in the print. So you can now, because of this combination, you can see different icons over there, but also the way it's the look and feel, it scales. Also some items will disappear if they are not applicable. This gives a cleaner layout. So several improvements are done. And also in the mobile solution, so the Go and Go Plus, you can generate that workout print straight away or refresh it. So that's also really a nice improvement. Yeah, and all in all, there are more optimizations done, but I think these are the key items to be mentioned. That means we are going to start with the next theme. Bert will do this one.
Yes, back to me. The second theme we're going to handle today is easy to use on any device. What does that mean? Well, we want Ultimo to have a modern look and feel. We try to simplify the more complex functional areas. And of course, overall, we want to enhance the user experience in Ultimo. So let's have a look at what we have achieved and what we are working on. First off, and I hope many of you will recognize this because you're all working on the cloud. At the beginning of the year, we released a new IFS Ultimo branding. So the entire web application was restyled based on a professional design created by IFS. And that was implemented on the web application, but also on the Go. Not yet on the Go Plus app. That's something we are working on. More on that later. And well, with that new branding also came a dark theme. And well, we are really happy to see that I think over 5,000 users already actively work with that theme. So it is a great success. And something to mention here is that, unless what we said before, for the Go Plus app, when we introduce a new branding, we will also include the dark theme there. Not based on the setting in Ultimo, but based on the device settings. So it will also come to the Ultimo Go Plus app. Next up, highlighting the priority and planning dates in the selection list to make users aware of what high priority jobs are, or the jobs that should have been finished but maybe aren't yet. It's something that should grab your attention, so we are going to highlight these fields in the selection list. You can see the example here. So if you look at the right side, you see the priority column, and you can see that the high priority jobs have been marked with a red background color, and you can also see that the planning dates have been marked with a red font color. For the priority, you can easily select yourself which priority should be marked by setting a boolean on the priority record. And this has not only been done for jobs, it has also been implemented for project, for field safety notices Chiel just talked about, and also for the purchase, so when the delivery date, for example, has already passed. Many of you already have this feature. I think not all of you, but don't worry, it will become available for every environment very soon. Then moving on to things we are improving related to filters. So this is things we are working on and not things that have been achieved already. First step, we want to make it easier to select your favorite filters and to switch between them. So we're going to introduce something that is called quick filters. You can see an example here on the screen. So in the main toolbar, you can see that you can immediately select some of your filters without the need to open a drop down we currently have. And so that means less clicks for you to switch between your favorite filters. That's a nice improvement here. And related to that is that we are also going to introduce standard out-of-the-box filters. So those you do not need to create yourselves, they are just available for you. And with these filters, we will also introduce some new filter options. So it will be easy to filter on yourself or on the current user, let's put it like that. So you can say the reporter should be assigned to me, or I want to see every job assigned to me, or perhaps every job assigned to my department or to my team. But without the need to create each filter for each user, they will automatically be available for you. And we will deliver these as standard filters as well. Then while we are talking about the toolbar, well, if we also are going to introduce these quick filters in the toolbar, you will think maybe the toolbar will become a little bit crowded. And that's also what we believe. If you look at the current toolbar, then there are a lot of icons shown to create a new record, to save a record, to download Excels, PDFs, etc. And it's not always very clear to especially new users what all these icons do. So you need to refer to either our product adoption tooling or maybe to some manual. And we would like to clean up the toolbar a bit as well. So we're going to create some new buttons like the create you can see on the screen here. So it is very obvious that that button will create a new record for you. And we are also tend to move some of the existing buttons to a more menu. But don't worry, the list that is shown on the right side is not final yet. We are going to look at the options that are used a lot, and those should be of course immediately available to you, but others that are not frequently used will be moved to that more button. Next one is related to images inside the Ultimo text fields. You can currently already do that. I think for a user it's very convenient, or for many users. But the way that is done is not something that we added as a functionality, but it's something that the browser started to support many years ago. And there are quite some downsides the way the browser does that. So it is stored inside the text field, making those text fields very big, but for you as a user, making it less performant. And that is a big problem for us. So we want to get rid of the current solution and replace that with our own solution. And you can see some examples right here. So when you paste an image on a job text field, the report text, for example, that's still possible, but we will automatically create a thumbnail, so it does not take the entire space of the field. You can just click on it, delete it, and it will be stored as a separate file on the job record. And the good thing is here, it's not only working for images, but you can also paste PDF files, maybe a video. You can paste any file you want inside these text fields, and they will be stored as separate files linked to the job, but also still linked to the text field, so you know which part of the text refers to a certain document or image. And that also makes it possible for those of you who work with the email import functionality to import emails where the images are inside the text, to display them actually in the Ultimo text fields. That was currently not possible yet, so something to look forward to. And the final slide of this theme, it's something very experimental, but we decided to show it to you anyway, because we are actively working on experiments for the user interface to enrich the user experience. And something we are currently working on is a sidebar. You can see it on the right side. It's a separate panel on the right side of your screen showing you a record summary and intelligent insights. So it can provide you with useful information like, was my work permit already approved? How many of the materials are there? Are they in stock? Did I even link any material? So the problem with the current screens is that you need to navigate through all these tab pages to find out the information you need. And with that sidebar, we try to make Ultimo more intelligent and help you go through the job process, for example. This will not be released in the state as I show it to you right now. We will further enhance it and experiment with it more, but hopefully it will arrive to you somewhere in the coming period, months, not sure when exactly. Next topic, internationalization, back to Chiel.
Yeah, and going back to the previous slide, maybe you think, oh, I have an idea about what I want to show over there on the right panel. If you have a suggestion, please add them in the chat as well, as inspiration for us. Maybe that's also a nice question to you. For example, you can also link an asset to this job, and if there are still awareness data active, then maybe you want to see it on the right part. That is maybe an example as an intelligent insight. So if you have ideas, add them in the chat. I will have a look at it. Okay, to continue about the language support. So compared to last time, we now support simplified Chinese, Greek and Hungarian, and we are working on Slovenian. Maybe it's also good to emphasize we don't use a translation tool. No, it's really a manual job. So we have a translation service provider, someone is translating it, and another one is reviewing it. So it's quite an intense step to add a language, but this ensures the quality. It's maybe also good to show a lot of other languages that are already available. Once in a while, we also review all these languages as well. So all support of these languages is quite an intense operation. Okay, then we continue with the work permits again. I mentioned it in another theme as well, but here again, because it's now available, you can choose a language on the work permit, and it's now suitable for global multi-site organizations. Maybe you think now, I want to know more about these work permits. Next week there's a webinar given by colleague Dries van Stevens. You can still join this webinar, go to the website, subscribe, and look at then online or look it back later on about more features. All right, then we move on to scalability. Bert.
Yes, back to me again. Scalability, maybe a bit of a vague theme for some of you, but it is a very important one for us, but also for you. Looking at our cloud solution, then we have over 1,200 customer production environments already running on it. There are over 90,000 monthly active users active. And that of course means that we need to make sure that we offer a stable, a secure, a well-performant Ultimo environment for you. And also, we are doing these bi-weekly updates to make sure that all the new features we are mentioning right now will become available for you very soon. So it is a very important theme. So what did we work on? Actually, it's something we didn't stop working on. It's something we always work on. We try to improve the performance of both the selection list and screens. In the past months, we've made several improvements on the selection list related to the way we handle filters over there, the way multilingual queries are handled if you're working on a multilingual environment. But this actually never ends. We are already working on several other improvements, and we always try to keep doing that to improve the performance even further. Something very specific, which is also related to performance, is asynchronous web calls. So it's a very technical project, and I'll try to explain it to you as simple as I can. When you open a screen in Ultimo, then in the background we do that in several steps. So the first, the screen is loaded, the data is loaded, then all these specific elements on the screen are also loaded, like a grid. But we do that, we first wait for the first call to finish, then we do the second part and the third and the fourth. And with asynchronous web calls, we will do these requests simultaneously. And when the first one is already finished, so perhaps you can already show you the screen, then we will do that. And that will mean that if you have a screen that is not loading very fast because there is a large grid on it, for example, you will notice that the screen will open a lot faster. And the good thing about it is that you can also start working on the screen already, while perhaps the grid is still loading. And that's what you see on the right side. You can see the loader over there that is still loading a large grid, but the record is there and you can work on it however you want. So that is what asynchronous web calls will do. If your environment is already very quick, then you will hardly notice any difference, probably none. but for those screens that are loading really slow, this could have an impact for you. Then something for the application managers, at least if you are working with it. In the screen designer, we have something called conditional formatting, where you can do all nice things to set a field visible, protected, set a color, stuff like that. And currently we have the situation on the left, where there is a long list of all these rules available, and there's no real overview. And we're moving to the situation on the right, where we are going to decentralize these rules to the control itself. So if in the screen design you click on a control, there will be a new tab in the properties panel called conditional formatting. And then you have an immediate overview of, well, all the options you have on that control. So maybe you don't even know all of them, and also where it is set. You can easily revert back to the standard conditional formatting as well as you want, because the decentralized part will make it possible for us to make a better distinction between what is standard and what is customized by you as a customer. And that will eventually then also improve the updatability of the product, so our bi-weekly updates will become a bit easier. Something else related to updates, the update mechanism of Go Plus. It's our mobile solution. That is a separate configuration. And if you have configured that in the past, then, well, probably you will have ended up with a lot of custom files. And that means that new functionalities delivered by us and never became available for you. At least they were not present in the screen. We are now revisiting the way we are doing the configuration in these files. So we've made the user content in these files way smarter. And yeah, you can also easily reset or move stuff to the user content as well. And that of course also means again that in the future it makes it possible for us to deliver new features to the mobile solution easier. We're going to do that, the rollout of that in various phases to make sure the impact is very limited on your current mobile configuration. And then another one related to the Go Plus, something just to mention, we are migrating from Technique, so there will be a new app version coming up somewhere in the coming period. Why is that? Well, first of all, we always want to make sure that we work with the latest techniques, but we also want to make sure that we work with supported versions. And the current app is based on Xamarin. That support is going to stop, so we're moving to Maui. And with that change, we're also implementing the new design I just mentioned at the beginning. And with that design, the dark mode will also be available. So that's also something we're working on. And after we've done that, we can move forward with our Go functionality, for example, by adding notifications, but more on that in another webinar. Back to Chiel with the next theme.
Thank you. All right. We start with user management. Who got access to the Ultimo application? And here we improved several things, but they are very interesting for you because there's now multiple select. In that way, you can activate a lot of users in one step. And when you see the second bullet, it's pretty handy. First, you create a lot of user accounts based on your employee accounts. That's now possible in a very easy bulk action. The users are then selected and you activate them. All those users will receive an email with the URL of the environment and the username, but you don't need to set a password anymore. Now they can set themselves on the login page. There's now an option available, login or request a password. When the application manager is on vacation and the user is coming back from his vacation and doesn't remember his password anymore, he can also set the forget password functionality to create a new one. So all in all, very nice improvement. Then the application manager, we want to know who's the application manager. For example, the application manager got access to the customer portal to, for example, register a service request or see the follow-up on that service request. But also you've got access to e-learning content. So when you now see this message on the right, please go to the UCT, the user manager, and register there at least one application manager over there. In the coming future, more items will be related to this application manager. So it's important to register it. Then we move on to single sign-on. As I said, you created user accounts and users log in into the Ultimo application. The majority of them is using, we call it forms authentication. That means you have a username and password, you fill it in, and then you log in into the application. Another very convenient way is using single sign-on. Then there's just a button, you press on it as a user, and you're logged in straight away into the application. Less steps and a very easy way. However, single sign-on always needs to be configured. And so we need to collaborate as you as a customer, we as Ultimo, set some settings, URL, maybe certificates, and all in all, it is a border for customers to start working with single sign-on. So that's one of the reasons the majority of you as customers work with forms. However, we are developing a standard single sign-on solution with Microsoft Entra ID, which will become available for free. So you can use it if you want to stick to forms. That's also, of course, possible. But single sign-on is a very easy way of logging in. And based on your company account, then you automatically logged in into the Ultimo application. More information is coming in. We are still working on this step. I think it's a really handy and nice improvement for the Ultimo application. So have a look at the information that is coming about this topic. Then something really different, Ultimo is customizable. And this is often used to make a perfect fit between your business processes and the Ultimo application. But sometimes, the business processes change over time as well. Or the application manager is new, and then he's looking at configuration he's unknown with. And then we got questions like, what is customized and is it still in use? And that answer will become available in the UCT. There will become a new manager available, configuration usage, and there you see all the custom files, how often they are executed, and also the last 100 transactions are shown over there with the usernames. This will become available for reports, screens, workflows, and mobile files. This will be done in steps. The first thing is reports. If you now log in into the UCT, probably that one is already there. And the next one will be screens. So this answers the question, is it still in use? And maybe you can decide based on the usage to even remove things. Or when you want to change functionality, you know now which user group is involved. You can see the usernames on the right, and you can ask them maybe for testing. So this is a really nice improvement. When we add, for example, the screen logging, it will become available, but of course it needs some time because of the usage to see the executions. All right, that brings us to the final theme.
And that is modern reporting tools. So as Ultimo, of course, we would like to offer reporting information on all the reporting levels, operational, tactical, strategical. And of course, we want to make sure that you can share that information. Here we have a short introduction. It was mentioned in other webinars as well. If you look at the current reporting stack, then many of the reports we have are based on Crystal reports. And we would like to replace that product by either deleting the no longer used reports. We are gathering data. We have done that for the past couple of years already. Or by transferring converting the current reports to another tool in Ultimo or outside of Ultimo. That could be Power BI. And you can see the list of possible options on the right side. And one of the things there is new, and that's called Ultimo Reporting. And we have been actively working on that tool the past 6 months. And Ultimo Reporting is a new reporting tool created by ourselves, which is capable of generating reports like this. So it can generate forms like the work order form, for example. It can generate some lists like the inspection list. You can create the order form. You can create some equipment stickers. So Ultimo Reporting is capable of creating some nice fancy reports already, and that is also what is now used to convert some of the first reports, and we have a plan for that, an introduction strategy. Some of the most used reports have already been converted, and we asked a pilot group of customers to test those, and that was a pretty great success. So in the upcoming period, we're going to activate Ultimo reporting for all essentials and professional packages. So if you as a customer are on one of those packages, you can expect these reports in your environment soon. Why just on these packages? Well, there is no customization in Ultimo Essentials or Professional, so we can just convert the standard reports and you can start making use of them. For Premium and Enterprise, it's a bit of a different story. There is a lot of customization possible, and we are currently looking at the way we want to integrate customization into Ultimo reporting. And well, we are now converting the reports one by one, so it's not like we are going to ship the entire stack of Crystal reports and ship them within a year to all the packages. No, we will look at each report separately, decide what the alternative should be, if it should be an Ultimo report, and then convert it. And this will be a long year plan, so it's not something that will be done this year, but the first reports at least can be expected in the Ultimo Essentials and Professional packages very soon, and we will continue to do that in the next period. And that is actually the end of the presentation. I think we've now handled all 6 key roadmap themes, so now it's time to head over to the questions. But before we do that, there's one thing to mention. We have been telling you things about what we have achieved the past 6 months and what we are currently working on, and you can probably expect in the coming 6 months. But if you want to know more about the vision behind these themes, the market trends, perhaps a little bit about the roadmap, there is a webinar next month, a roadmap webinar where Chris and Vincent will tell you more about it, and they will also tell you more about how AI is involved in that. That was what I wanted to say. I think we can now come back to the questions if there are any.
Yeah, well, there are suggestions about the sidebar, so thank you.
Right.
It's always good to see what you come up with. So indeed, the sidebar, make it adjustable, the content based on the users, or maybe even the users themselves can define it. Well, it's a good suggestion. We're now thinking about making the items that are shown over there also depending on the status of the record. So then it's based on the record you select, and then maybe widget will be shown over there, or will disappear if they're not applicable, etc. So, but thanks for that suggestion. Yeah.
I think this question, there is a question if the application manager can have the validator functions available for them. I think that's about the application validator in the configuration tool. That's something we should have a look at.
Yeah. Yeah, the push notifications. Well, one of the requirements was that we need to first the question is there an update on the push notifications in the Go app? Yeah, we see the question, but we need to repeat it. Sorry. Yeah, the update is, one of the requirements is that we first should move to Maui. And we just mentioned that this step is now being executed. And when that is on the next team on the roadmap is the push notifications. So that is the update. Yeah. All right.
Now we're out of questions, so that also concludes the webinar of today. Thank you again for watching. We hope to see you next time in another webinar. Bye-bye.